Today, we're diving into full bloom. The tents are exploding, the greenhouse is replanted and thriving. But before we get into all that, I owe you an explanation. For the first time in almost 3 years of running this channel, I missed over a month and a half of uploads. To everyone who dropped a comment checking in, thank you. And I'm sorry for the delay. But here's what's going on. The truth is, I hit a wall. Some call it burnout, others call it writer's block, or creatively crashed out. You see, I used to drink here and there, smash a pizza, happily, often, and honestly, I never thought twice about it. Until one day I looked down at the scale, 203 pounds. Whoa, that hit me hard. Sure, the garden was green, the harvests were plentiful, but I was heading in a direction that was not sustainable. Something had to change. Between working out, boxing, paddle, and paintball, things are on the up. So here's my story of the comeback, a reset, a chance not only to grow stronger, but to make sure this channel thrives, so I can keep doing what I love for years to come. Now, the balance is back. I'm down a bunch of weight and got way more energy. The garden's thriving, the CO₂ room is maxed out in bloom, and the greenhouse fully replanted. So yeah, thanks for the patience. I promise we're coming back stronger than ever. And now, let's dive in. All right, guys, what is up? Welcome to the vlog. The first place we're gonna be checking out is the CO₂ room, and we got some fancy new upgrades. What do you guys wanna see first? Some of the upgrades, or do you wanna see the plants? Oh my God, whoa. Okay, hold on. Before we go in here, let me show you what day it is. As we can see here on the Pulse little TV that we have set up before we walk in, or even just coming in here every day, we just take a look at how everything's doing. It is day 30 flower CO₂ room emoji crosses. Okay, RH, it could be definitely a little bit lower, VPD, could be a touch higher. We'll dive a little bit more into the metrics once we get in, but everything is getting watered, which is good. The CO₂ sitting good at about 1,000. It ranges from anywhere from 1,000 to 1,500. But let's go ahead and dive into day 30 inside the CO₂ room. Woo! Wow. Oh my God. The height on these is ridiculous, dude. We kicked them over when they were just little shorties, but with the right nutrition, CO₂ and lighting, things are massive in here, bro. Wow, my oh my, does it smell incredible in here, dude. I honestly don't know if we've ever had a CO₂ room or this 3 light room smell this good in general, dude, on just day 30. Plumping up, looking frosty. Wow. First things first, let's talk about the genetics in here, because this is the first time ever that we're actually running our own crosses. Things that we've made at home with some of our favorite winners. Again, we've been crossing stuff over the last 2 years. We've done male runs, we've done regular seed runs. I think it's been almost 3 years now. We've been playing with our own genetics, but we have yet to do an entire room of our own stuff. So it's the last day of the male's life, of the male's living. We're going in to cut the males right now. Good morning, gentlemen. Here we are, the last day of flower for you guys. You're getting cut down. We're sticking with some of the winners. And we said it's time to do a full test of these ladies. So what do we got? The first 10 plants on this side right here. These are all La Bomba from Compound Genetics, crossed to our craziest winner, the number 22, the Watermelon Emoji, as she was coined. Then in the middle of the room, we have the Moweeto. Very complex, crazy terp profile, amazing extracts, just ridiculous flavor. We got 10 plants of those, and then we at the back, let's get to the back here. We got a combination of two of the craziest, tangiest, most fruity, citrus, yum terps that we've ever had on the channel, and that's our winner from the Toronjaz cross to the Watermelon Emoji. So we got 10 Toronja crosses, 10 Moweeto crosses, and 10 La Bomba crosses. Currently have these available anywhere. They're not for sale anywhere. It's very important to do the testing period first, right? We get the question all the time, where can we get your stuff from? Where can we find some of this stuff? I don't know if it's anything should ever be launched before a good thorough testing, and that's what we're doing in here right now. So a nice little test of 10 phenos of each different cross. Again, we have many. These are the first three that kind of stood out to me. And then in the greenhouse, we got even a bigger test going down with these same ones. So it's going to be a cool comparison to see indoor versus outdoor, which you're going to see later in this episode. But wow, dude, the aromas on this stuff for just day 30. Wow. Really nice. This was the Toronjaz. So the donor in this case, the donor was the Watermelon Emoji. And then each of the other strains that you heard in this cross, those were the receivers, meaning those were the femmes that got pollinated in order to create these seeds. So overall, just looking at it, I can see the Toronjaz. Let me flip this around. You can kind of see the Toronjaz is much bigger, taller, stretcher, which we've seen a lot too. Let's cut to some clips of when we did that original hunt. In the Toronjaz tent, it was a jungle of big top colas. A lot of tall beauties in there. Very similar on terps all around, but there was just different structures I found when we did it. The Toronjaz comes from Black Tuna Seed Co., and I believe that's an F1. Cross of the Atomic Tangerine to the Tropicana Punch. Wow, some of the tops on here, really nice. Whoa, that thing's massive right there, dude. Look at that. Beautiful tops up in here. Follow that voice inside my soul. Looking really good. And as usual, guys, these are the Evo 10s. So the Evo 10s are cranking, doing their job, but with this much of a stretch, like this is the only part of the garden really that didn't stretch as much, the crosses to the Moweeto. But the Bombas, we got some big stretchers over here. As you can see, the Bombas, really big. How about that? Toronjaz, just as big, but already bigger buds. I can see some beautiful bigger buds in there right now, which really nice. With this height, we've only had to have these lights set to 5. And we're getting a nice 1,000, almost 200 at some parts, which might seem high, but when you got CO2 cranking in the room, it's a nice combination. Let's just say that. We're gonna have some beautiful frost monsters in here. This thing's furry. This looks like a little furry. As far as ventilation going, we got all the 6-inchers right here. Some of them are getting a little bit too close to the tops for my liking. Just gonna raise these up. So it's nice with the little clippers. We raise them up. We have them on full oscillation mode, and I think set to about 7 on the settings, which is doing good. Our Dehu has been cranking nonstop and still not doing enough work. 65 humidity in here. But as far as plant health, things are really, really good. No deficiencies. You can see some heavier feeders than others, but that's normal in a pheno hunt. That's what you're gonna see. We like to look for, our favorite winners are often the easier plants to take care of. Obviously, we prioritize terps, we prioritize effect, we prioritize then structure, how easy is it to grow. Oh wow, look at this thin fan leaf, bro. That is nice. So the parent inside of this, the Watermelon Emoji, also had a thin, not as thin as this, but a thinner leaf structure. And she stood out because she ticked every single box. Like just ridiculous terps, great effect. And the most amazing thing was her structure and ease to grow. It was just hard to get her any deficiencies in any conditions, outdoor, indoor, all that stuff. So this fan leaf right here, I'm a big fan of right away, just because you can see, look how the light penetrates through. Even without a heavy defoliation, which we should still take this one off, the light still gets through to the lower buds. I wonder if this is coming from the Toronjaz side of things or the Emoji side of things, but I love that, guys. Throw down in the comments what you think about that. What do we got on here? 8, 9, 10. Is that 11 leaflets? Beautiful, dude. Really nice. So talking about leaves and defoliating, as you can see, a few days ago, Grow Bro Brian and I were in here. We did the full lollipop, full inspection on everything. With such height, it really was an easy defoliation. It really was an easy lollipop on these. The internodal spacing was spaced out nice enough where nothing was too leafy or too hard to get at. But honestly, guys, you gotta throw it out to Grape O'Brien. He does so much work around here, really passionate about the plant. Make sure you guys follow his personal page on Instagram, and then also his project page where he's got his own grow going on. You guys gotta check him out on Instagram. Give him a shout out. It means the world to him. It's all about promoting the people that love the plant, and Grape O'Brien's definitely one of them. So big shout out to Grape O'Brien for getting these plants taken care of like that. Obviously, we're in here as much as possible, but with all that stuff you've seen at the intro and just life and editing and all that stuff, you know, it's all these plants we have here at Homegrown TV are more than a full-time job, and that's why there's 2 of us here at Homegrown TV, and Grape O'Brien is a big part of it. So give him a follow. So as far as bulking up, big buds, delicious buds, and just ease and health of everything. Again, look at these leaves, dude. All the way around, perfect health, which is very important when it comes to growing, is what nutrients are you giving. Inside, on the last run, we did their organic line, the Pure Organics. This run, we're using what I'm coining their classic line, right? Their salt-based line in the irrigation, and that way we have a fun comparison from organics in the outdoor to the indoor being with salt-based, kind of see what we end up getting. This bud booster doing its work, and then the full line, right? With all the additives with stuff like this armadillo armor, which is silica. Guys, do your research on silica. Absolutely amazing, the type of difference it makes in your plants. It's one of those things that when you add it in, you literally see the difference of which plants get it and which ones don't, or which grows have it and which ones don't. Armadillo armor, as it's called, from Cronk, does absolute wonders. And funny enough, this is fully organic, so this works perfect in our outdoors as well. Or for any organic growers, it's great. But for us here doing the indoor with mostly salts, we got a little bit of organic silica that we're adding in, and that's what's giving us a lot of the stem strength, a lot of the growth, and a lot of added benefits. Again, check out silica, guys, for your grows. If you're not already using something, it's worth doing some research. Just ask GPT, I'll tell you all about it.
Look, I don't take no loss, it's simple. Long stand up, guy want 10 toes. Looking in the mirror, who better than me? Got their hands high, tell them that I'm out of their reach. I know, I want a few.
Oh, I hear the irrigation going on right now. So same as last run, guys, everything getting automatically irrigated, solenoids turning on automatically, depending on when the open sprinkler says that the plants need it, all thanks to Pulse. It's been working flawlessly, literally from day one. We've never had an issue. And that's these monitors right here, paired up with the hub. This is what tells us when the plants are gonna need some water and what's going on. And they're currently getting fed right now. So after an hour dry back of lights on, that's when they have their first chance to feed. And so far, so good with everything Pulse. So all the monitors working good. Stuff like this THV right here in the middle. This is the monitor that gives us our full RH, VPD, humidity, heat, everything you really need to know. And then these Pulse Pros are what's telling us the CO2 amounts, and if there's any accidental light, very important to know. As you guys know, on the last run, we had some light leaks, and so we had herm issues on our last run. I came in this room when the lights were off and found out like the DHU lights were shining, the AC lights were shining, there's even light coming from outside in, which was not good. It stressed the plants out, and for sensitive plants, it's gonna make them herm. So on this run, we're trying to make sure everything is in check and everything is good so we don't run into that issue again. As far as inspection is for when we take a look at these plants, we'll dive a little bit into the terps. It's only going to get better from here. I do consider day 30 to be, you know, it's like that awkward phase of flowering. Like, you know, we don't know what the final structure is like, but we are getting aromas already, especially just walking into the room. In a sec, we'll do a little bit of a terp check.
Hello, I'm feeling so good, so good. Hello, I'm feeling so good.
Show you this cool new device right here. Look at this. This right here is what's gonna fully protect us against mold, bacterias, and issues like powdery mildew or bud rot in our grow. The air simply comes in through the bottom, goes through a crazy scientific process, and then comes out here, and all the air that goes through here is not only killing the bacterias and stuff, but the air that comes out is now active and basically going to sanitize the room. It's insane, guys. It really is. So I will say, in full disclosure, we're not sponsored by Innovative Solutions. We did find it on Growers House. I think we even have a discount for Growers House, Homegrown TV. It's available on there. This is their small, like, indoor grower setup. They sell bigger ones, but this is more than enough to power this room. So yeah, very excited to be putting this to the test right now. The Pro Guard, we got one set up in here, and then in the tent room, which I'm gonna take you guys to next. But I feel like this is just insurance policy in the sense that like we should never see powdery mildew or bud rot in here, which we haven't seen on the last few runs as far as powdery mildew, but we did have some bud rot on the last run, so I'm hoping this is gonna totally take away that issue. And again, guys, we're not sponsored by them, but I will say and be fully transparent, they did send this to us for free to test and review. So as always, we're gonna be completely open and honest with you if it actually works and how it is, but I was blown away by the technology, and I've already been looking at this thing for a few years. I'm hoping, and I'll keep you guys posted as episodes do come out, how this thing does and how it keeps up. Bipolar ionization, pretty cool. Now let's take a little terp check. Wow, look at the undercarriage on these Moweeto crosses. Before we even get to a terp check, this thing is already purpling up. And then the Moweeto, I don't know if you guys seen past episodes, she's famous for having a purple stem. These ones are all green stem for the most part, which sometimes can also be a deficiency, but the Moweeto just naturally black stem. This one's very green. But this one I can tell is already, this one's gonna be a purple frost monster. Very nice bud structure already. Good internodal spacing. Let's start here at the front of the room with the La Bomba crosses and do a little terp check on a few of these. Okay. Oh wow, that's definitely leaning on the emoji. God, that's like a watermelon skittle. Total candy. On this Bomba cross, I'm really hoping to find something kind of in the gas world, but the resistance and the growth style of the Bomba terp is kind of hard to find, especially in early, even late flower sometimes. It's one of those ones, once you cure it up, you dry it up, you roll it up, it's undeniable how crazy it is. The amount of events that we've been to when we bring this, just the Bomba from Compound, it has never failed to be a total crowd pleaser for those gas lovers. It has jet fuel gelato in there and wedding cake from the Bomba. And God, when you get a jet fuel gelato leaning with a little bit of that wedding cake, it's undeniable how good it is. So some of these where it's hard to smell right now, these are the ones that we're really gonna have to wait all the way to the toke test at the end to really know, are they gonna be leaning on Bomba with some of our favorite benefits from the emoji. Ooh, wow. I'm already getting a little bit of wedding cake or jet fuel gelato from this one. Oof, mental note, and it's growing like it too. Tall. The Bomba is often a big stretcher, but mental note for future episodes, make sure you check out number 16.
I swear you remember who you are.
Already smelling like jet fuel gelato, which is sometimes hard to find in early flower. Oh my God. I can't wait to have Q back over here to do the final hunt, like, I don't know, in 2-3 weeks time. It's gonna be ridiculous. Oh, and number 16 is frosting up, just like the winner of the parental genetic. Look at this. That, my friends, is crazy. I don't know if this camera's doing it any justice. This is the type of strain that should frosten out frosty, and fan leaves turn into sugar leaves. But we gotta let her finish up and see. But yeah, all very similar structure. They do have like kind of smaller buds, but these should start to thicken out as the parent genetics did. But yeah, much smaller structure compared to, let's say, the Toronjaz or the Moweeto. But look at some of those stretchers, bro. That thing's already hitting the light. That's not good. That thing's already hitting the light. We've had 2 surpass the light already. So very tall plants. Again, we kicked them over when they were like, probably like this height. Like they were short. And then crazy, dude. No topping on most of them. I think we left all the main branches, center branches, and we just wanted to get to flower as quick as possible with an under a month veg all the way to flower. La Bomba looking really good. As it is day 30, obviously from early day 20 to 30, we're always checking, especially when you're testing a new genetic, we're always trying to see, you know, how stable is it, and are we gonna have herms? That's always going to be a possibility with feminized seeds. It's just one of the things you gotta look out for, right? We've had our few fair share of run-ins with herms over the past few years. Some of them caused by us and some of them just because it's a numbers game and that's what you get. But on the Bomba crosses, we haven't found one, which is really, really good news. Not one single hermaphroditic trait whatsoever, which is very important. Obviously that we're testing this stuff is to see, all right, is anyone gonna have a herm issue? And so far, the Bomba cross emoji is looking perfect. Then let's hop over to the Moweeto, do a little terp check on these suckers. Already some frost, like almost more frost than we've seen on the Bomba, but can't let that deceive you. And here on the Moweeto crosses, I'm kind of looking for some of these cakes and some of these complex, hard to describe, kind of baffles me when I try to describe the Moweeto. The best I can do is like cakey, but it's so much more than that. So far that one doesn't smell too much. Again, it's early, but let's check out some other ones here. So this one's a frost monster. So totally emoji leaning, but I smelt the cake. It's an emoji cake. Holy. Very sweet at the beginning, very watermelon-y, very candy. But at the very end, I felt that Moweeto cake. Moweeto cross emoji number 2. So look at the structure on it. This reminds me a lot of the Watermelon Emoji parent in here. Beautiful buds. I can tell she's gonna go purple as well. Thinner leaves as well, just like the mum. So this might be a pheno leaning totally on the donor side as far as the Watermelon Emoji. Smells very nice and is very frosty already, which is a great sign. Let's take a whiff of this one here. This one was another one that really stood out to me as far as bud structure goes. Let's see what she smells like. Very similar to the last one I just described, very Watermelon Emoji. They look pretty similar. Wow, okay, so 2 out of the Moweeto emoji crosses are very much leaning on that Watermelon Emoji. This one's totally different structure right here. If we take a whiff on that, let's see. Not much on her yet. Same thing with that. The ones that we're not getting much aromas off of yet might be more leaning on the Moweeto, and we might get more terps later in flower, as well as I gotta hop over to the other side to kind of check out some of those. Looking promising, especially the ones that are leaning on the Watermelon Emoji side. When it came time to doing the check on these Watermelon Emojis, right, just coming through here, for the most part, when you're looking for herms, you're looking at the entire plant, but a lot of the time in the middle section of the plant and all these internodes and all these little bud spaces, very rarely at the top buds. If you find herms at the top bud, it's like, it's a total hermy plant. But on these Moweetos, we found, unfortunately, quite a few hermaphroditic traits. We know the donor is the same in every single one of these, right? It's just the receiver, the female plant that received the pollen in order to make the seeds. That was the only difference. The Moweeto winner that we had, out of the 10 plants, it's 30%, if not even higher, as far as hermaphroditic traits, which is why it's so important to be testing your genetics. You know, again, people have asked us for years, could we get some beans? How could we do it? There's no way I would ever launch anything before actually testing it, and this is why. You never know when you're gonna find a little pollen sac. Some of these were just riddled with it. None of them at the top buds, but some of the middle ones, they did. That's why we're on top of it. I'm hoping that we don't have seeds at the end of this. But for example, me, you know, if I were a breeder and actually launching seeds, I would never look to launch this unless more work was done on it, far more testing. Heigen and Basement Grow Show are going to be testing these at their indoor, and we're going to be doing a ton of testing in the outdoor. So it's going to be interesting to see what they find. But so far, Moweeto to emoji, I mean, chances are, I would never even give anyone these seeds, even someone who really wanted them. Here's a perfect example. I know this camera isn't going to see it, but like, see if we can, we'll have to really zoom up in there, but it's weird because it's like the calyx pops out one little nanner, and that one little nanner, there's 2 nanners in there. Who knows how many seeds that would create. When I pick these off, I try and get them wet right away. The water kind of sterilizes the pollen. I don't want any seeds to be created in here, but there's a perfect example of even after going through and fine combing and picking off everything, because we want to see them finish flower either way, it's going to be almost next to impossible to get every single pollen sac, because look where this one was. The side branch on what underneath the bud. Like you gotta really get in there and look. Very rarely do you ever find it at the top of the bud. It's pretty much always in the middle section of the plant. Let's see how they finish up just for the sake of it. We did have to cut one down because that thing probably had the most hermaphroditic traits. Unfortunate, it's all part of the testing game. Tonjaz. Tonjaz means grapefruit in Spanish. I thought it was a very good name for it because they are citrusy, but it's not necessarily just an orange. It's not a lemon. It really is something different, and it has a bit of gas in it when we found them, our winner. So this winner specifically from the Tonjaz was one of the bigger producers, one of the loudest terps, and just a great effect overall. What we're hunting for in this is a nice mix. I would love to see a mix between the Tonjaz and the Emoji. That was the keeper that I'm looking for. So far, it's smelling very nice. You know, a little ways to go until we get a little bit louder of terps. This one here looks like a tall winner from when we first ran the Tonjaz. Let's see what she smells like. Yep, total Tonjaz. You can tell by her structure as well. Definitely leaning on the Tonjaz. Don't get much Emoji in there. It's very citrusy. No much gas yet. I feel like those come out a little bit later. But that one I like. A little bit tall, but very nice. This one definitely smells a little bit more like the Emoji. So far, so good, man. These smell great. God, these at the end of flower are gonna be something to talk about, dude. So on the Toronjaz, same thing as La Bomba. I don't think we found any. No bananas, no pollen sacs, no hermaphroditic traits so far on any of the Toronjaz. It makes sense. The Toronjaz was also quite stable when we grew it. And I think Black Tuna did a really good job creating this strain. An awesome breeder from here in Colombia. Highly recommended. The only thing, it's hard to get them depending on where you live. But if you can find them, or if you ever make it to one of the events in Europe or Latin America, Spanibus, Germany, this is something I wish was on Seedsman. It would just be so much easier for the rest of the world to try stuff like this. Seedsman is often where we get a lot of our stuff, guys. It's our favorite seed bank when it comes to just selection and then ease, depending on where you live. They can often get it to you. So Seedsman is our biggest recommendation as far as seed banks. Whether you're living in Europe or South America, whether you're living in Canada, US, they just have a huge selection of stuff on their website. If you guys do check out Seedsman, make sure you use code HomegrownTV, help support the channel, and it gets you a discount. So much love to everyone who's been using that code, and shout out Seedsman for holding it down, I think, for over 20 years and getting home growers around the world hooked up with dope genetics. So hopefully one day, stuff like Black Tuna is also on there. I know they're adding breeders all the time. Recently just added Soulfire, which we grow a lot, from Trilogene, which you'll see in a bit that we got from them. But a huge selection and worldwide shipping. So, wow, look at this thing though. This thing is looking beautiful, bro. Oh my God. This almost is looking like the winner we found when we did the Toronja hunt. Frosty, beautiful, decent internodal spacing. How does she smell? That is Toronjaz. That is Emoji. That is the mix that I'm talking about, bro. And for day 30, take this mental note. Toronjaz Emoji cross number 12. Unfreaking real, dude. Stick it icky. This right there, number 12, bro. And growing perfect, not too tall. She's not one of the stretchers, which again, I don't mind. For outdoors, I think it is good to have a nice stretcher. But for indoors, I like a nice even stack with buds that aren't too big. Just nice, dense buds, kind of spaced out. Some of the Toronjas were a little bit of a harder feeder, whereas our donor was a very easy feeder. Look at that fan leaf, dude. So spacious. Spread out, and how many? 9, 10 leaflets, bro. And I love the spacing on there. Like, imagine that's hanging over the buds. There's still light getting through and you can see my face. That is something I like. This is looking like it's a perfect mixture of both the strains, is what I wanted to find in there. Number 12, baby. I love you. God, I could hang out in here all day long just smelling these, but I know it's only gonna get better as the time passes. So in a sec, I'm gonna take you guys over into the 2x4 and the 4x8 to see a totally different experiment that we have going on in there from some other winners from Ridgeline Farms. We got some interesting points and new changes over there to check out. So before I take you guys over to the tent rooms, I just wanted to show you some cool new pieces of gear that we got that I thought were really cool. So the first thing here from AC Infinity is their AI outlet. So right now we have the 2 mix pumps. And so these pumps here kind of mix the nutrients in a reservoir tank, and they're set on a timer. So this kind of acts like a controller 69 for anything that has a straight plug. So it has 8 different slots to be able to plug in anything you want to. A DHU connects to the temperature reading, can actually connect to 2 of them. And so you could have it be like, all right, DHU, only turn on when humidity does this. For our mix tanks, we put our little mixers in there, right? We got the FloorFlex pumps that kind of just aerate and mix up the water. We turn them on for about 5 minutes, I think every 2 hours. It's been working great as far as just making sure things are staying mixed, and a way to have something on an easy timer. The options with this are endless of what you could do, and it totally beats the heck out of this thing, dude. Look. So this is, I think, available now on the website. We've been testing it over the past few months. It's been working flawlessly, and the price tag, not too bad either. And for anything AC Infinity, you guys already know, use code HomegrowTV at checkout. Again, it helps support the channel and gets you a little discount, guys. So, oh, and then another piece of gear that I'm excited about setting up. This is what's gonna help clean all the clutter of cables. So you put one end into a device and then the other end goes into the controller, and that way you don't have cables running everywhere, which I've got comments before, guys, of people genuinely worried about just the amount of cables that we have. Like, we need to clean some of this up. I think we got 3 of them for the CO₂ room, and I got 3 of them for the tent room. These are gonna be sick. Also available now on the website. If this room smells like candy, watermelon, grapefruits, the other room smells like some of the craziest dank in all of California. Let's go over there.
Could be platonic, gotta know how to move me. It's not ironic, you're taking over my body.
All right, welcome to the tent room. Let's get these ladies opened up. This right here is a terp that we discovered years ago today, actually, funny enough. And now they're flowering indoors, and these are our winners from the outdoors. One sec. So we got a cool test going on. We got Coco, all genetics from Ridgeline Farms. This is the Lantz and then the Ridgelion, some of the craziest ones from the greenhouse last run. These weren't even available to the public as far as last year. This is the first year that Jason from Ridgeline has decided to open up and share with the home growers around the world genetics like Ridgelion and Lantz, which are beyond epic, guys. The Emerald Cup, tons of breeder cups, so many different awards, truly award-winning strains. And these are our favorite phenos from the last few episodes that you guys might have seen from the outdoor. So we got the Ridgelion number 25, Ridgelion number 11, and then Lantz number 5. Yeah, and then Lantz number 11. So same thing going on in this tent right here. We got a Cheetah Piss number 25, and then a Lantz number 5. So what's cool about this, the test that we're doing is kind of a Coco versus our old traditional mix of castings, Coco, and amendments, but everything here is being fed Cronk nutrients. So we know that Cronk produces absolute fire. We know that these tents like the AC Infinity 2x4 cranks out some frosty buggers. We've had several grows that are just ridiculous in a small setup like this. And then in the 4x8, we've actually upgraded it with the Evo 10s on our last run. And these are only set to 5. We like the Evo 10s just with the spread. They killed it on the Schwale run, produced some ridiculous amount of extract. It was unbelievable the amount we got. So what do we see right away? We see that Lantz are just bigger, taller plants in general. This terp though, you just can't beat it, man. As far as smoking it, it's just, you have to have it in your repertoire. It's unreal. It's everything you would want from just ridiculous California exotic gas that leaves a taste in your mouth that you will not forget for hours, dude. It's ridiculous. You smoke it a few years later, you're like, oh my God, that's what it's like smoking award-winning genetics. It's really, really good stuff. So both Lantz, you can see there are stretchers, whereas everything Ridgelion crossed to the cheetah piss is a little bit smaller in here. These also are on day 30, and they got their lollipopping done, I believe, on day 23 or 24. So big difference. So far, looking pretty good. I know these Ridgelions are gonna fatten up like nothing we've ever seen before. The Lantz does take a little bit longer to flower, but again, it is a producer, it produces amazing amounts. It's just a bigger plant in general, very vigorous. For the outdoor, it was one of the only ones that had some issues with powdery mildew, but whoa, look at the frosting already. But indoors, where we have things a little bit more controlled, everything should be good. As well as in this room, we installed the ProGuard as well. So I don't know if you guys seen the last segment where we were talking about this in the CO2. This should really help us prevent anything to do with powdery mildew, molds, all that kind of stuff. And as far as differences that we're seeing, you can see when I put it in the amended soil with some of the castings, I don't feel like they're as big of buds right now, but my oh my, are they frostier. They're much frostier. They have frost coming down on the fan leaves. They've really stretched out. We've actually had to cut that top off. These are pretty much reaching the light. So extreme stretchers. It is now set at 6. And with this height, that's given us over 1,000 already at this height, which might be too high, but we wanted it to be good enough for the rest of the canopy in here. But look at the difference, dude. So this is the Ridgelion number 25, right? And now look at it when it's just grown in cocoa. Exact same age, day 30 flower, but what a difference in structure. So I feel like the cocoa so far is giving us a bit more in production. Also, again, I mean, totally different lights in here, but the frost level looking good. Nothing to complain about for day 30. But then you come over here and you're like, what is going on, dude? It is just frosty in here. So again, our homemade mix. We even left a few little just random plants and weeds and stuff in here. 3 total spikes in here of the ½ gallon per hour Floraflex. Overall, they're just dry out way slower, meaning they receive less food. When they do get food, the plants are clearly loving it. But what I'm learning from Coco so far is they just drink a lot quicker, right? So we got smaller pot sizes. These are 2 gallons. These right here are 5 gallons. The difference is pretty crazy, dude. I mean, so fun experiment. Shout out to you guys in the comments that have been bugging us for years. Do some clone tests of the same clone in different environments. It was kind of inspired by that. So we took our favorite Lantz, our favorite Ridgelions, and put them to the test. These are truly gonna finish incredibly. And let's get a whiff. We kept this Ridgelion because it smelled like the Lantz, but it grew like a cheetah piss. Resistant, a little bit shorter. Beautiful, beautiful plant, but it totally smells like Lantz. And then these Lantz smell more Lantz than you could ever imagine in your pants. That is good, dude. So again, this has been a hunt we've been doing for like almost a year, I think, since we popped the original beans. Because these beans we ended up getting last year when we went to go visit Jason, and we popped them. They were regular seeds, so we had to, wean out the males. We didn't keep any males. We just wanted to find the females and run them in the outdoor. We did that test, and now here we are finally doing it in the indoor. And this is what's crazy, guys. If you remember in the last room, anytime it's time for lollipopping from day 20, day 30 and on, we're always checking for hermaphroditic traits. Even though these have been growing outdoors and we never found one single herm in everything, here we are always going to be looking for the same. You never know, it's a new environment, it's indoors, something could have changed, but not one single hermaphroditic trait, which isn't really surprising, but you always just want to make sure. But here's why it is surprising. I mean, you're gonna notice a little bit of stress here and there as far as some yellowing, I don't know if it was some light stress or what was going on. I ended up finding out the other day that for the last few weeks, this light has been staying on too long. It stayed on for an extra few hours. This light was turning off and not one single herm. This is an error, like accidentally leaving a light on or just messing up flower at some way or another. We've done this in the past. Every single time we messed up the light, we always found herms. But this is a testament to show very stable genetics, especially when growing from regular seed. It's like impossible to get these things to herm, which is great. We know that we have something tested thoroughly, stress tested, light stress, you know, all types of stuff. We can't get it to herm. So unbelievable, just such a good testament to the genetics and the work that Jason's done over at Ridgeline. You can't even get these to herm if you wanted to. But now that the lights are fixed, everything is set correctly, I assume these ladies are gonna finish up marvelously in their last month. They might have another 40 days of flower. Some of these are a little bit longer flowering than others, but some of them are actually quite quick on the Ridgeline crosses. The purple on this 25 is unreal, and the bag appeal is just gonna be gorgeous. But this is gonna be a nice harvest indeed, dude. So definitely an amazing testament to Jason at Ridgeline. Everything you're doing is amazing. Really nice genetics. I hope one day it's also available on Seedsman. It isn't yet right now, but I think you can find them over at Tangled Roots. We don't have a code Homegrown TV, but I believe code Triangle. It is hard for those looking just for feminized seeds. I mean, us too, we often prefer just to grow feminized seeds. It just makes life so much easier. But seeing what's happened here is just a testament to regular seeds. Regular seeds are great, and I think there's still a big need for them in the world. Let me know down in the comments below for those regular seed growers. Almost everything from Ridgeline is all regular seeds. Still doing it the old school way, which I absolutely love. I know things are gonna turn for the up and up here as things continue. As always, AC Infinity, for those looking to start your indoor grow, you just can't go wrong with getting a full tent set up. This is the 4x8, this is a 2x4. I think we've proved several times that in tent setups, whether it's a bigger one like this or even a smaller one, you can produce absolute fire in here. And I cannot wait to see how this one is gonna finish up. It's gonna be a frost monster. And it's gonna be so cool to compare to the Coco side-by-side test in here. This is brand new. We haven't hooked this up yet. I don't even know if I can show this yet, or we're just supposed to be testing it. A sensor that's gonna go inside the buckets to let us know when there's no water left in there. Really cool new stuff that AC Infinity is coming out with as far as irrigation. I think they've just dropped some new stuff on the website as well. And then last but not least, we also set up another AI outlet on here, which we have our pump connected to, that makes sure it mixes the nutrients. Turns on every 2 hours for about 5 minutes. And as you can see in there, that is some beautiful Cronk nutrients that the ladies are just gonna love.
As luzes piscando, o clima tá pegando fogo. Agiga no corpo, é só jogo, jogo, jogo.
So before we head out to the outdoor, which is incredible, it's all reset, everything's replanted, all 8 beds are going. We got brand new genetics in there to show you guys, some cool fun breeders that we ran before, and some new stuff out there. So before we head out there, I just want to give a big shout out to Mr. Q.
So the last month has been pretty incredible.
The OG Grow Bro. It was with him that we originally adventured over to Humboldt in California. It was with him that we went to Jason's farm the first time with Eric Nugshots and got to test this stuff for the first time, and just mind blown. And now he has his own channel up, guys. So Q's Garden is officially up. He's doing really cool tutorials. He's doing a lot of how-to videos, and he's gonna be doing a lot of the smoke tests and stuff that we don't have time to do here on the channel right now until we get some editors or more people. Again, we edit everything here alone. Let's get Q to 20K subs. He deserves it. He's been here from the beginning. He's been helping us from the beginning. And now that he has his own channel going, I'm telling you guys, there's some really cool stuff coming out in the next few months that you're not gonna wanna miss. So I'll leave his link down below, Q's Garden. Give him a sub and let him know we sent you over, guys. Spread the love. We need more content creators. Anyone watching this channel as well, let me know down in the comments what your guys' channel is. I'll make sure I'll give you guys a sub. I'm always subbing to new channels. We need more content creators on YouTube, in my opinion. There's so many genetics to test around the world, and not one single channel can do it. But I know all together, we can cover a lot of information and a lot of genetic testing, which is our favorite thing to do here on the channel. We're just big genetic nerds. So let's head to the outdoor now.
The first time I saw you, I knew I had to have you.
Don't mean no one night stand. Gotta find a way to be a man. It's something about the way you turned and looked at me. Your smile, it turned me on and set my...
What is up, guys? Welcome back to the greenhouse. The Colombian classic Bamboo Beauty is officially replanted and done. We're gonna go through each one of the beds. I'll show you guys the new genetics that we've chosen to plant in here. A little bit of garden work. I think today is perfect day to do a little topping on some stuff. Almost time to throw the scrog nets on as well. And today is day 36 in veg. Day 36 practically since we put them in the beds. So let's go bed by bed and show you guys what it is that we have planted in here on this run. Starting with what last round was our community bed, right? This time it's one single breeder. All available as well on Seedsman, but this right here is the Humboldt bed. So when we were in California, one of the strains that really stood out to us, especially at Nat's place where it was all getting bred, was the Granny Candy. So that's the first selection that we have in here right now is Granny Candy from the Humboldt Seed Company.
Oh, baby, let's dance. Extended cut, DJ, make it last. We're the only ones in here, we're so into this groove.
As you can see, lush, green, beautiful. In a bit, we're gonna come back through and do a little topping on all these so we start to get multiple tops, and then eventually we're gonna scrog these out. I would say within the next week, the scrog net should be going on. But this whole bed right here, up until pretty much 3/4, is all gonna be Granny Candy. So far, looking nice. Some of the shorter ones haven't been topped yet, the taller ones did, but beautiful, lush. And just like on the last round, everything on this round is getting fed with Cronk Puur Organics. So literally our feed cycle right now is once a week. They're getting fed with the same nutrient chart that's available on the website. Once a week they're getting their nutrients, and then the rest is water. It's been easy peasy, and as you can see, the plants are absolutely loving it. Look at that. That is a really weird looking grasshopper. Whoa, you better not be eating my stuff, bro. Get out of here. Oh yeah, look, he was munching earlier on here. We've definitely had, as you'll see in some other beds down the road, we've definitely had our fair share of worms and grasshoppers already. A lot of them are just picture perfect, looking great, looking beautiful. We are doing preventative sprays a few times a week, cycling different organic beneficial bacterias and some other local organic preventative sprays that we find here locally in Colombia that are just really good against the array of different pests that we have. But so far, I'm really liking the stacking on all these Granny Candies. This is a terp that is just matches the name. You know, it's like one of those candies you find at grandma's house when you go over there. Beautiful hints of, you know, pineapple, grape, just nice artificial candy. Some of our runs to the pack are still just starting right now, but with a nice top and a few more weeks veg, this whole bed is gonna explode. Granny Candy, this whole first section of the bed, all the way up to here, looking great. And then this is something brand new that we're doing a test here for Humboldt Seed Company, and this is supposed to be their garlic butter fast. But as you can see, it's already flowering out, so it's clearly still an auto flower. A lot of the fast genetics that are being created because they're crossed into some kind of ruderalis to bring it a little bit faster into flower, but it should still be a photoperiod. These are not released yet. These are just being tested, and as we can see, the test is showing that it is very much an auto flower. That being said, we're already getting some crazy frost for being just 36 days in the ground. This is nuts. Like this one over here, we had topped it because again, we thought it was a photoperiod, but it's already frosting up. I can see purple from the inside out. Some of these are just gonna be very small auto flowers because we were treating them like full-on photoperiods. But it's crazy to see frost level coming all the way out on the leaf like this. You can tell it's gonna be a crazy auto flower, that's for sure. Very quick flowering. But these are the only ones in the entire greenhouse that are flowering, kind of acting like a full auto flower, whereas all the other beds are full on just straight up vegging. So it's gonna be cool to follow these along and see how they end up finishing up. Yeah, it looks like we have some auto flowers in the greenhouse with everything. Wow. So our plan from here, we'll let them finishing out flower, obviously. We're no longer spraying anything over on these ever since we've seen it kicking over into flower. We're just gonna keep it on its own from now until harvest. But this one right here is crazy, dude. Let's take a whiff of this. Wow, very GMO. Garlic butter. Supposed to be a crazy washer. This thing probably would have been a monster by now if we didn't top it. Totally identical looking pheno on this auto. And as you can see, the buds, they look purple from the inside out, which is nuts. A few of them just stayed tiny, stayed small. I'm sure transplant really stressed them out because we were treating them like full-on photo periods, but they're auto flowers. So there it is. First bed on this round, Humboldt Seed Company, Granny Candy, with a new experiment they have going, the garlic butter fast. Later at the end of this little section, a walkthrough, I'm gonna come back and we're gonna do some topping on these. For those who like their candy, fruity terps, this one right here is going to be one to keep your eye on because it really is one of those strains that matches the name. Now let's hop over into bed number 2 and bed number 3, which are from what I thought was one of my favorite flavors and breeders inside of the community bed. This right here, guys, is Shadowborn Genetics. Really cool having the opportunity to support smaller home breeders, right? Just like ourselves, creating amazing things made with lots of love, but don't often have the recognition like some of the bigger breeders or people who have been around a long time. So this whole bed right here, which I gotta say, this bed and then the bed right beside it, both the Shadowborn, are looking like some of the biggest, most luscious plants in this entire greenhouse. This first bed right here, guys, is the Grape Graffiti. It had me right at the name, Grape Graffiti. I'll throw up the lineage right here. Looks like it's gonna be some fire. Massive, fast growers too. We went through already and did our first topping. This is day 36 from being in the ground, but they've already been topped once because they were exploding so quick. And now it's time to come through, do a little bit more training, and get the trellis net on here within the next week. Very few of them haven't been topped because they were a little bit slower, but today's the day where we'll go through and finish topping everything. But the Grape Graffiti, the growth on these is unreal. I really hope we find something nice in the terps that matches the name. Some grape, some spray can graffiti. Sounds good to me. But so far I got 0 complaints. Like literally none of these on the bed have any deficiencies. From bottom to top, just looking good. Perfectly healthy. And already sticky, dude. What the heck? Beautiful, beautiful. Perfect signs of growth on every single one of these Grape Graffitis. So really excited to represent here some Shadowborn Genetics. Look at this monster. This thing is huge, bro. That's a big plant. So a lot of these already got to knee height. You know, if anything, this is one of our smaller ones, but every single one just looking perfect, bro. Here's another big one. So I'm very excited to see these pop out. And then bed number 3. And bed number 3 was our favorite from the last run, the Pungent Punch, but now this is F2. So he's continued to work on the breeding. He's continued to selectively pick his winners, cross them together into this F2 right here of the Pungent Punch. Look how good these look too. Seriously, unbelievable. Really nice. The size on the leaves on this thing is beautiful. Really like the structure on these leaves. Really nice. Time to start training some of these down so the lowers start to catch up. Hopefully we get 8 beautiful tops, you know, on each one. So just lightly bending them down, a little bit of Cushman chiropractics on this sucker all the way down, allowing these lower ones to catch up and have a nice even canopy. You can tell already that this bed is just gonna be full, especially once we go through and just get that little bit of last bit of training done. We're getting some big stretch, some big growth, which for the outdoor, I absolutely love. It's almost like you want a longer internodal spacing in the outdoor so there's no mold. And we're gonna see how resistant these really are in the Colombian outdoor. Pungent Punch was very resistant our last run, so I would hope that Shadowborn hopefully selected and did a good selection on his F2 run. And you're already getting some pre-flower. A little bit of the tiny little calyxes and hairs are already popping out, showing us that these ladies right here, if we kicked them over to the flower, they'd be ready. We're gonna let the rest of the greenhouse catch up to them. We're just gonna try and keep them all parallel by training, topping, and hopefully even out the entire greenhouse to be somewhat of the same height. Unreal size. Here's another, just huge fan leaves on everything all around here. So very excited to see this next run of the Pungent Punch from Shadowborn Genetics. He's having a really hard time on Instagram. I don't believe he has a website, but I'll throw up a few of his Instagrams right here. He keeps getting shut down, but for those of you looking to reach out, maybe ask some questions to Shadowborn Genetics, here's his Instagram. Make sure you guys give him a follow, as these 2 beds right here are gonna be really fun ones to keep track all the way to the end of flower. Totally up my alley for the types of terps, just really fruity, delicious on the Pungent Punch. And then the Grape Graffiti, something new that we haven't tried before that I'm hoping gives us, you know, a nice surprise at the end of flower. I don't see anything in here that's been really affected by any type of bug or caterpillars. We haven't had too many caterpillars coming in. Gets me so excited for probably one of the most even canopies we're gonna have in the entire greenhouse is the Shadowborn beds. Just looking really big. So far, absolutely loving the climate here in Colombia, and can't wait to see how they handle the late flower and see how quick they are, how mold resistant they are, because that's always one of the biggest things we're testing when it comes to greenhouse style here in Colombia, where we get so much humidity, is how resistant are they, how fast are they at flowering. Just makes your life so much easier when growing outdoors. Gonna be fun to see. Let's hop into our next bed, which is going to be something unique, fun, and that we have never done, that we definitely have never done outdoors, and I don't think we've done it indoors for like 2 or 3 years. And that right here, guys, this full bed is a full bed of CBD from Trilogene. So Trilogene we found also on Seedsman, but this was a recommendation, a personal recommendation from Jorge Cervantes, one of our first mentors, if not the first mentor, with all of his different DVDs and how to grow and all the information that he used to put out. When I first started growing, he was literally one of the only teachers putting out this type of information in video format. So once he told me, you really got to take a look at the breeders from Trilogene, they do some great work. Well, we took that seriously and we planted 2 different strains in this entire bed of pure CBD. So one of them on this side here, all these are growing much bigger as well. So this whole side over here, big, massive growth, looking really good, just as tall as a lot of our Shadowborn stuff over here. And then they get a little bit smaller over here because this is a different strain. They grow completely different. This whole side is the Dawn. And then this whole side is Ultra Pink. They had me on the name right away. I'm like, Ultra Pink, I gotta see that. The CBD created from Trilogene is supposed to be really well known for actually having really good terps and good flavors, even though it's CBD. So I figured an extract of this, or even some nice flower of CBD, is something we haven't had in a long time. We wanted to dive into the medical side of things, and these Ultra Pinks are just looking beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Nice and tall, somewhat of a thinner leaf structure as well. Just really taking well to this bed out here. This was on the last run where we used to have our BOPs and some of our favorite clones. We decided to throw in the CBD. Hopefully the termites in this bamboo take it easy this time, because last time we had a little bit of like almost bamboo dust kind of falling on the plants. You know, stuff like this right here, which kind of makes it easier and more prone to molding with those type of particles falling into the bud. But overall, the BOPs and the Schwales and the Guela papayas did really good. So hopefully these CBD strains do just as good. We got a few little runts, right? Tiny baby ones like over there, over here, kind of closer to the bamboo pole itself. And then things just get nice, green, and lush over here for the Dawn. This looks like some type of mutation right here, where we're getting this formation on the leaves, almost like a bleaching of, you know, look at this. Here's a good example. It's not so much a deficiency as I think it is a mutant, like a mutation of the plant itself. It'll be cool to see how these grow out at the end, but so far ones like this are just picture perfect, and I think it's a good day to also come through. We'll chop off and do a top, probably at the top node, like something like right here, and just start to let them branch out, grow out, so we can fill this bed as much as possible with some beautiful medicinal, exciting news to have some CBD back in the garden, and overall also loving the nutrients. So there's our first 4 beds, right? We got the Humboldt, 2 Shadowborn beds, and then 1 Trilogene bed. All really exciting stuff from the top up. And then from here, the bottom down, the last 4 beds, these are homemade creations where we took some of our favorite winners, crossed them together, and have an F1 of some new genetics that we made here at Homegrown TV. These got put into the ground when they were just baby seedlings. Some of them had quite a stressful transplant because literally it was just a baby root put into the ground. And then on some of the beds down the road, you'll see that our dog got in here and took out quite a few plants. But So this first bed right here still has a lot of catching up to do compared to the other beds, right? And then we had some of these that just barely ever stuck. It reminds me of almost the chicken and waffles run last time, where they were not looking that good when they went into the ground. Others are now fully established and looking good. But this cross right here, look at the size on this leaf. This is all Toronjaz crossed to Watermelon Emoji. So we took our favorite Toronja Fino, that the hunt we did, I believe, almost 2 years ago, and we took that, I think it was the number 8, and we crossed it to our Watermelon Emoji, number 22, the true queen. It makes amazing extract, both of these, when it comes to flavor. And so very excited to be looking at these. As you guys already seen in the indoor and the CO2, they are cranking, looking really good. They were resistant, they make amazing extract, easy to grow. So these two in combination together, I'm hoping, I got my fingers crossed, that we've created a new winner, right? So we're doing the pheno hunt right now. We're gonna be cloning everything and then hopefully finding something that stands out, is really good, resistant, easy to grow, kills it on the terps, to be able to take that and cross it into an F2, or if not, back cross it again to either the Emoji or the winning Toronja parent. The Toronjas comes from a breeder here in Colombia called Black Tuna Seed Co. Really talented work. They breed everything in-house here in Colombia. So I think it's gonna be a really good time today to come through. We'll take a top off right here. We'll do our topping probably at this level right now. Allow them to start to branch out, fill out the bed, as well as the few that we've kind of lost here, the little runts. We might put clones in from the indoor just to fill this bed as much as possible. It was plants like this where we had, you know, grasshopper, caterpillar come through and kind of do the topping for us. But it's specimens like this that I'm like, right on. This right here is what we want to see go all the way into flower. How are they going to perform? So far, they're loving it, but they got a lot of catching up to do before they look like these beds right here. Right next to it, this next bed, same thing, looking a little sparse here, closer towards the end, right? Things like this just didn't stick. They totally died off. This one's barely about to stick, but there's a nice healthy one right there. We got a lot of space to kind of fill in this one right here. This is Compound Genetics La Bomba, our frostiest winner we probably ever found, crossed to the Watermelon Emoji. In this La Bomba Watermelon Emoji bed is where we should find, hopefully, that candy gas. Because Bomba is just one of those ones, no matter when you spark it up, it's a crowd pleaser. People absolutely love it. It kicks hard, has an amazing effect, and just tastes like unreal jet fuel gelato style terps. But when we take that and cross that into the Watermelon Emoji, wow, the leaf structure on this right here. On the right side of the bed, things are looking much better than on the other side of the bed. It's time for their top as well. So we'll take a top off each one of these. We do have to clone and back everything up for when we find our winner. But look at this one here. She got topped early and she's already bushing out. So nice, very short structure. This one's gonna be interesting to follow and see how she finishes up as well. But this bed here, La Bomba to Emoji, cannot wait to see these in flower. The end of the bed, a little hurting. We gotta fill this up, but my oh my, this one over here is definitely looking nice. So this right here, this entire bed, all the way down, probably some of the bigger growers of all the homemade crosses. This right here is Moweeto crossed to the Emoji. So the Moweeto, just an amazing, delicious cake, complex terp profile. Wow, I love the spacing on these leaves like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 little leaflets sticking out, looking healthy, beautiful on everything over here. Some stretchers, right? Some bigger ones looking good. And then some like this just barely even took. So overall though, the bed's looking really good. Cannot wait to see what the combination of Moweeto, one of our favorites, does with the Watermelon Emoji, number 22, winner of winners. This one must have got attacked by an insect at some point and just kind of growing a little bit weird. We're gonna let everything go because you never know what the winner's gonna show up as. But as soon as we give these all a top, things are gonna start to bush out from a single stem to multiple stems and just give us more tops. As you can see, it's probably like 2 weeks behind, you know, some of the Shadowborn beds or the CBD beds. Like those are already past knee height, almost up to my hip. Whereas the homemade crosses here of the Moweeto to the Emoji definitely needs another few weeks to catch up. The idea is hopefully we can balance this bed out to match somewhat of the height of those ones, but we'll have to see what happens. And then here's our last bed. This right here is Exotic Genetics Yikes number 4 that we hunted at Growbro Brian's place about a year and a half back. Very nice kind of lemon cherry gelato terps. And we've crossed that into the Emoji. So this one, again, is gonna be really fun to see because we haven't had many Yikes plants, but the final model just looked beautiful. The winner that we crossed her to, the Yikes number 4, is just a standout, beautiful plant. A lot of these are looking perfect, green, healthy. Really nice. The only run to the litter is pretty much this one here, and then a few at the front. I cannot wait to get these topped and start bushing them out because they're asking for it. I said, Dad, we're nice and healthy. We're ready for our top. Another way we could do it, we could just be coming in here, right, and kind of bending down the stems a little bit like this. But we definitely, I think, want to do a full top as we want these to bush out as wide as possible. Today is the day where we're going to give them a top. Day 36 since being in the soil. That's going to be another exciting one to see as well. We're going to head up, grab our scissors, rip through the beds really quick, do some toppings. Then maybe we'll take a look and peek over on the other side. As you guys can see, there's another greenhouse over there. And there's some big news coming and some new projects coming, but the second greenhouse is officially in. And let's just say it's a whole nother level of greenhouse than this one right here, which you can already see in the Colombian Classic and the Bamboo Beauty, what is possible when you take care of the plants. You can really get a nice high level of flower. But in theory, you would think this other greenhouse I'm gonna take you guys into after this is gonna be a whole nother level. A whole nother level. So here we go, great graffiti bed, fully done. Humboldt Seed Co. bed, fully done. And we ended up doing a double topping. So we're gonna create a lot more tops and totally delay the veg time on these compared to, again, some of the lower beds that are taking a bit longer. So we've just done a big topping, some double topping on a few, left all the leaves down here below. These are going to explode. In 2 weeks, we're gonna have so many great graffiti tops. It's gonna be beautiful. Now we just gotta finish the Pungent Punch, the CO2 bed, and then top all the rest of the homemade crosses. Officially done. Again, some pretty aggressive topping on a few of them, but our goal here is to slow it down, have it make as many tops as possible so we can fill this canopy up. Pungent Punch, down. Next up, CBD bed. This one's gonna be pretty straightforward, as many of them don't have a top. So all we're gonna do is their very first top now. Boom. And I've just been cutting this down below. I'll also take off the 2 big fan leaves up at the very top to allow more light and allow this lower canopy to start to stretch out. So that was easy. Just got to do that again. I'll show you on another one right here. So we're just going to grab, 2 nodes down, chop right there, take these 2 leaves off. I'm also going to take the next 2 set off, and hopefully these are going to really start to bush out. Once they start to really grow, we can throw the trellis on and start spacing everything out. But already just that topping alone is going to make a big difference. Alrighty, sun almost down, and we finally finished. Everything topped and cleaned up. So it's time to turn the fans back on. We're gonna let these ladies chill for the next few weeks. As far as flower timing, I'm hoping another month. Might even push it a month and a half if we have the time, but we'll see. Let me know in the comments, guys, what you think about the new selection we got here in the greenhouse. Which one of these beds got you the most excited? And then let me know from the height and everything that you've seen when you guys think we should flower. Like I said, I'm thinking a month. It'd be beautiful to be able to veg them out as long as possible. Really fill these canopies out and see if we can beat last harvest results. Fans back on, and then tomorrow morning we'll head into the new greenhouse and I'll give you a little heads up of what's going on in that new project. Much love, guys.